Hey, what the fuck have you done in our financial statements? You haven't done anything good for a company from the start. You're fired! Now that is what is gonna happen to you if you were not able to have a correct financial statements with correct balances and correct classification. So, what should you do? Having a correct journal entry. And that's it. So today, we're gonna talk about journal entries. Remember guys, this is very important and crucial because this would serve as your foundation in order for you to understand future topics like financial accounting, advanced accounting. This is also used for preparing financial statements, just in case there are adjustments to your balances. So imagine when you're trying to write your diary and what is happening to your daily or personal event. For example, me. I'm gonna talk about the things that happened today because I actually haven't a bad day because I failed in my accounting class. Because before I was dreaming to be the number one student in my class to make my parents proud. I've been literally studying 24/7 for 3 months. Literally. And actually, my classmates think of me as a nerd. But still, nothing happened. I still failed. And I was like, why after all the effort? Same thing applies when it comes to journal entries, except it is the story of the company, not yours. So the question now is, how do we do it? Well, one thing that we have to know first is that we have to maintain the equality of the equation, which is assets equals to liabilities and owner's equity. Yes, that equation has always to be balanced. So if the asset increases, the amount of the sum of the liabilities and equity has to increase by the same amount, and vice versa. If the asset decreases, same would decrease by the same amount as well. And remember, that's not always the case. Sometimes the increase and decrease of an asset would just offset each other. So the balance would be zero. There would be no movement as to liabilities and equity. Remember, when it comes to an asset, it increases when it is placed on the debit side and vice versa. As for the liabilities and owner's equity, it is placed in a complete opposite way with the asset. So it increases when it is placed on the credit side and it decreases when it is placed on the debit side. So just to give you a quick step-by-step on how you do it, first, analyze the transaction. Not being able to analyze the transaction would lead you to have a wrong journal entry, which would lead you to have a wrong balances and would lead to a wrong financial statements. So focus when it comes to analyzing the transactions. And always ask yourself when reading the transactions, what is happening to our company? Second, knowing the elements of the financial statements. Being able to be good at this could make a huge difference in you having a correct journal entry. When trying to read a transaction, always ask yourself, what are the elements that are affected by this transaction? Okay? And the third step would be to make sure that the accounting equation is always balanced per transaction. Not being able to balance this equation means that you're doing something wrong. And you have to stop and find where you had your mistake because ignoring this type of problem would create more trouble and decrease your chance of finding the mistake because of the multiple amount of entry that was made on your account. Now the last step is making a journal entry itself. This is the final output that we would make after making the first three steps. So the question now is, how are we going to do it? That's a very good question. And now that is what are we going to talk about in the next video. I'm going to give you a bunch of examples about this one, so stay tuned on the next video. Thanks. Thanks for watching, guys. If you think this video was helpful, please give me a good response by clicking the like button, and remember to subscribe and share with your friends who are currently looking for accounting tutorials. I wanted to build a community with you guys because I wanted to teach you accounting in a fun way. We're not here to look at the paper or whiteboard full of numbers, so let's enjoy learning as much as possible. Bye-bye.